Gohan fans, a fan base that similarly to the Vegeta fan base has gone through their fair share of trials and tribulations, and just like their favorite character, they've experienced some of the highest highs and lowest lows this franchise has ever seen. However, if I were to give one word that embodies these fans the most, it would be the word neglect. As out of every fan base within this community, they are the only ones who know what it's like to have their favorite character be the absolute pinnacle of power, not once but twice, and simultaneously know what it feels like to have their favorite character become the laughingstock of the entire community. Yes, being a fan of Gohan isn't an easy task, as just like any other fan base, it comes with its own hardships, and although I'm fairly new to this character's fan base, I've ventured far and wide to learn what makes them tick. Yes, in today's video, I plan on going over the 6 stages of every Gohan fan. Now, if you've seen my previous videos about the Goku and Vegeta fan bases, then you already know everything you need to know about the casual Dragon Ball fan. However, if you haven't, simply put, these are the fans that are just starting the series and don't really have a favorite character yet. This can be because of several reasons. Maybe they haven't experienced a character defining moment, or maybe the hype moments they've seen from a certain character doesn't resonate with them. Who knows? All we know is that they like to watch people fight, like we all did when we first picked up the series. Pretty simple, right? Now with the gateway stage out of the way, it's time to open up the floodgates and dive right into the Gohan fan base. The Gohan Enjoyer is a very, and I mean very interesting stage in the life of a Gohan fan. You see, although Gohan is one of the most popular characters this franchise has ever seen, weirdly enough when it comes to the Gohan Enjoyers, there doesn't seem to be a lot of them out in the wild. A very strange phenomenon, I know, and the reason for why this happens is a bit surprising. You see, as weird as this sounds, throughout the earlier parts of the series, Gohan wasn't as likable as he is now. He had his moments for sure, but during the Saiyan saga as well as the Frieza saga, Gohan didn't steal the show the way a lot of other characters did. As a result, sure, people liked him, but he wasn't most people's favorites. And I mean, can you blame them? At the time, the young Saiyan didn't have any iconic moments, but even so, surely he had to have some fans before, well, you know. And this is where the Gohan Enjoyers come in. They're the fans that like Gohan from day one or during his early development, something not commonly seen within this character's fanbase. Now as for how they interact with the overall community, well, just like a lot of fans of other characters at this stage, you'll usually find them discussing Gohan's best moments. However, what makes the Gohan Enjoyers a bit different compared to the next stage we'll be going over is that you can usually find them talking about Gohan's amazing moments before his most iconic one. Things like how he saved his father from certain death back in the Saiyan saga, or how he completely overpowered second form Frieza back on Namek. And this is pretty much how you can spot them, as they won't bring up these moments in conjunction with Gohan's most iconic scene to make that scene more iconic, but instead they'll just appreciate the smaller moments in and of themselves. However, unfortunately, as wholesome as the Gohan Enjoyers are, they are a dying breed, particularly due to the fact that a lot of fans usually skip this stage, and on top of that, many previous Gohan Enjoyers that were once here have moved on, leaving this stage of the fanbase a barren wasteland, as the only people you'll usually find here are the newer fans that took a liking to Gohan before that pivotal moment. Speaking of which, the Gohan fan is the next stage within this journey, and if you were wondering, yes, they are the reason why the previous stage has been left in the state that it is now. This is because of one amazing moment that shook the entire Dragon Ball fanbase so hard that we're still feeling the ripple effects from its debut even now. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. The epitome of hype and arguably the best built up moment in the entire franchise. You see, in order for a Gohan Enjoyer to become a Gohan fan, this catalyst is needed to make the transition, and due to how effective this hype moment is, a large majority of Gohan Enjoyers who witness this scene instantly make the jump over, and hell, even some people who are on the fence about the young Saiyan or straight up dislike them immediately took a liking to him. Now the strange thing about this stage is that it's a bit of a mixed bag. You have some fans who are extremely wholesome, and then you have some of the most toxic fans you'll ever see. As for how they interact with the community, well, it's like I said, it's a bit of a mixed bag. On one hand, you have the fans that gush about all of Gohan's amazing moments, this one especially, and even when fans are tearing down the young Saiyan from falling from grace, all they can do is focus on Gohan's dubs, ignoring all of his L's. A bit delusional if you ask me, but they're not hurting anyone. Now on the other hand, we have the more depraved fans, and the thing that makes them so unhinged is the fact that if left without any hype Gohan moments for a certain period of time, they will begin to act out. This can be seen during the Gohan Massacre of 2015, otherwise known as the start of Dragon Ball Super. During this time, these fans were at their worst, flooding any comment section about why Gohan deserved better, and to be honest he did, but man, these guys just wouldn't stop. It was never ending, and God forbid you say anything that disagreed with them, as they'd tear you asunder. Day in and day out on videos pertaining to Gohan, and even videos that weren't about him, they were there, constantly reminding everyone about what made Gohan so great in the past, and to be honest, there wasn't really any way of stopping them. Back then, you just had to bide your time and ignore them. However, in recent years, they've calmed down significantly, especially due to Gohan's most recent debut of his newest form. The Gohan Fanboy is the next stage in the life of a Gohan fan, and like the previous two stages, the Gohan Fanboys can be divided into two sections. peace and chaos. And although these two may have some differences, the one thing that binds them together is how they reached this stage. You see, these fans were born during Gohan's time as Dragon Ball Super's punching bag, and the thing about them is they both have an interesting dynamic about how they interact with the community. When we take a look at the chaotic fanboys, what you'll notice is that instead of keeping their disdain for Gohan's downfall to the downfall itself, they instead harbor a newborn hatred for the series as a whole, and this can be seen with the things that they say about the franchise, Toriyama, Toyotaro, and the fans of the series. That's right, due to how DBS treated Gohan for a majority of its run, the chaotic Gohan fanboy can be seen by many as a DBS hater, and just like any other hater of DBS, they have a tendency to linger around the community, bashing any and everything pertaining to the series as a whole. Now if you were wondering how you could possibly tell the difference between a normal hater and a chaotic fanboy, well, you'd have to engage in an argument with them, something not many people are well equipped to do. However, whilst arguing with them, you have to find a way to get them to explain exactly what they hate about the series, and one of the first and biggest things they'll complain about is how they treated Gohan. In short, the chaotic fanboys are a group of fans that were so scarred by the Gohan massacre of 2015 that all the love that they shared for the character fueled their hate for the series that took everything from them. Now the other side of this stage, otherwise known as the peaceful Gohan fanboys, are some of the most laid back fans you'll ever meet. You see, they too have been affected by the Gohan massacre of 2015. However, unlike the chaotic side of this stage, they didn't develop a growing hatred for the entire series. Instead, they did something completely different. These fanboys learned how to appreciate the half Saiyan in a different way. You see, due to how DBS treated Gohan, these fanboys would realize that holding on to the past would only serve in hurting them in the long run, and because of this, they learned how to let go, even if just a little bit. What this did for them was allow them to take a step back and look at things in a different perspective. Through them doing this, they learned how to appreciate the half Saiyan for other things beside his most hyped moments, as they learned how to be happy with Gohan's greatest achievements as well as his shortcomings, finding the good in both. Now as for how they interact with the community, well, you can still find them talking about all of Gohan's moments, but the thing that makes these fanboys stand out compared to the previous stage is that when discussing Gohan's shortcomings, you'll usually notice that they have a far more realistic perspective on how and why Gohan did the things that he did, rather than just solely focusing on why Gohan isn't as great as he once was. In short, the peaceful Gohan fanboys are a group of individuals that come to terms that Gohan isn't always going to be the best, and learn how to appreciate other things besides his most hyped moments. Now that's not really to say that they wouldn't want any more of them, it's just that they learned how to value what makes the character good outside of those moments. Now moving on, we've reached something that I'd like to call the Crossroads. You see, every fanbase, no matter which series or which character it is, will always have a healthy and toxic side to it, and the Gohan fanbase here is no different. However, for the longest time, these previous 4 stages were, for the most part, as far as the Gohan fanbase extended. Due to Gohan's most recent accolades in the superhero movie, the Gohan fanboys, just like their favorite character, have evolved into something much more, and depending on which side they stood on before this moment, decided where they ended up. Now with the birth of Beast Gohan and yet another titular moment for the half Saiyan, emerged 2 new tiers beyond the previous one, the Gohan Hype Beast and the Final Gohan Fan. The Gohan Hype Beast is the evolution of the chaotic Gohan fanboys, and like the name implies, they are fans fueled by pure hype. You see, after years of hating on DBS Super for what they did to Gohan, these fans were starved for any main character moments from their favorite half Saiyan, and when a superhero movie came around, it delivered big time. As a result, a lot of the chaotic fanboys ignited the flames of hype once again. However, these small flames would blossom into a raging inferno, as all the love that they had for this character over the years grew tenfold, and the resentment that they've garnered for DBS for but a moment washed away. Now with hope in their hearts once again, these fans are back with a vengeance, and in almost every debate about who is the strongest, these fans will appear and argue to the death that it is none other than Gohan. And as from now, from what I've seen, they've gone toe to toe with Goku fans, Vegeta fans, Broly fans, and even Frieza fans, and they're putting up one hell of a fight with only statements. The crazy thing about it is, you literally can't tell them anything, as it will go from one ear and out the other. Things like Beast Gohan doesn't have any concrete feats, or Cell Max is supposedly weaker than Broly, doesn't stop them from putting Gohan at the top. However, this isn't the worst thing about these fans. You see, what makes the Gohan Hype Beast so toxic is simply that they're fueled by nothing but hype. Super Saiyan 2, Ultimate, and now Beast Gohan are the pillars of this section of the fan base, as these are the only moments that they truly care about. And the thing that makes this toxic is due to them only liking Gohan for his golden moments. When stripped away from them or not given any more after a certain period of time, the anger that they wield is unmatched, as we've discussed before. If there ever comes a time where Gohan gets sidelined and disrespected once again, there's no telling what they might become. All I know is that it will certainly be something truly terrifying. So for the time being, be happy that all we have to deal with is overzealous fans excited about Gohan's most recent accolades, because the day that this hype dies, this community will know their rage. The Final Gohan fans are the evolution of the peaceful Gohan fanboys, and a lot of these wholesome fans primarily come from the Gohan Enjoyers all the way back then. The fans that have been with Gohan ever since the beginning when he wasn't as popular as most of the other characters, and through them being a fan of the half Saiyan for so long, they've learned how much hype they need to invest into Gohan, something a lot of other fans of Gohan's can't do. If the Saiyan isn't doing so well, these fans will take a step back and appreciate other things about the character rather than constantly being upset about the fact that Gohan isn't in the spotlight. And when the Saiyan is at the forefront of power, like in this current movie, they, like a lot of other fans, uplift those moments and cherish them as much as they can. Now, due to their unique perspective on a young warrior, although they share in the same excitement as the Gohan hypebeast, these fans are able to cherish Gohan's return to form far better than their peers. This is because, unlike Gohan hypebeast, the Final Gohan fan has learned to value everything about Gohan's character, be it his most important moments or his shortest shortcomings, and through this they develop a deeper understanding of his character. In short, due to them being able to appreciate Gohan at his worst, they can cherish him more at his best. Now, as for the way these fans interact with the community, well, unlike the Gohan hypebeast, the Final Gohan fans aren't constantly arguing about whether or not Gohan is the strongest. Instead, you can find them talking about Gohan's journey to get here, making note of every small moment Gohan has took that led to this amazing moment. And yes, although Gohan has had a lot of weak points throughout Dragon Ball, when push comes to shove, the young Saiyan will always show up and show out when it matters, and that's something that the Final Gohan fans know all too well. And with that, this puts an end to what I was able to uncover about the Gohan fanbase. If I'm being honest, they are some of the nicest fans I've ever met. I guess something about watching your favorite character be ripped from greatness really humbles people. I don't really know. Well, whatever the reason, my time spent exploring this fanbase was a pleasant one, albeit those few run-ins I had with the more toxic side, but that can be overlooked in my opinion. Now tell me, what are your experiences with the Gohan fanbase? Was it a positive experience like mine, or do you have some truly horrifying stories about them? Leave your thoughts about this fanbase down in the comment section below, and I'd like to thank all of you for watching this video. I hope you all have a great day. Peace, peace. Deuce, deuce.